As we now realize 2021 is not any better than 2020. Hey, 30-06 John here, and today what we're going to be talking about is find ammunition, gunpowder, and primers, how I keep shooting in this time of shortages. As the saying goes, bad things happen to people that run out of ammunition. So how do we keep our supplies up so we keep on shooting? Well, the usual routine for a lot of people is just to hit the big box stores like Cabela's, Sportsman's Warehouse, Bass Pro Shop, Walmart. There's also a lot of other smaller stores out there that people should be visiting. They could be pawn shops, smaller local gun stores. Sometimes the prices are not great. They're going to be a little bit higher. But they are a brick and mortar store, and I don't mind going to those stores and supporting them when they have supplies that I need. Now, more and more ammunition is becoming available on the shelves. 7.62 by 51 .308 is not particularly hard to find anymore. 9mm is not particularly hard to find anymore. 45 auto isn't particularly hard to find anymore. 223 isn't particularly hard to find anymore. So it's good to keep some factory ammo on hand if you don't reload a lot. So if you can't find your favorite caliber for your rifle, it's nice to have another gun in a similar caliber that you could use that sort of covers the same function. As an example, I have this Ruger Scott rifle in .308 Winchester, but if for some reason I can't find or can't reload .308 Winchester, I could also use this Ruger American rifle in 7mm08. Covers pretty much the same function. A similar example is for handguns. Usually I shoot a 1911 45. For some reason I run short on ammo. I can always switch to my Springfield 10mm. One type of thing that has happened to me several times over is that some of my friends have moved away out of state, and they had so much stuff that they couldn't take it with them. So they just gave it to me. Sometimes I felt so guilty about it that I actually had to pay them some money, but they were just going to give me a bunch of stuff. An example here, my neighbor was moving away, had all this 22, for some reason put it in this Friskies Party Mix cat food container, but gave me this big box of 22s. Another time one of my neighbors was moving, and he had so much stuff that he couldn't sell it or forgot to sell it, so he ended up giving me thousands of primers. Now, I don't actually try to plan and actively go out and try to look for people moving, but that's an idea that you look for moving sales, and you can find people selling powder and primers and bullets. If you do see primers on the shelf, and if they're not too expensive, you should buy some. I bought these here about 3 weeks ago at the local Sportsman's Warehouse. Now, I will admit that finding primers these days is probably the toughest thing to find out there. Anyone who's been doing a lot of reloading and knows that primers come and go. Of course, this time is probably the worst, but you know, everyone should be stockpiling or have several thousand primers. I store my primers in plastic bags. I date them. These primers are 13 years old. I still use them all the time. I actually have older primers, but I didn't date them, so I don't really know how old they are. I do know that some of these primers I bought or I bought when Clinton was president. I still use them all the time. Another thing to try is your local auction companies. A lot of times they'll have estate sales, and they'll have sportsman's auctions, and they'll have various ammunition and guns for someone to auction on. You see they have a lot of ammunition here. It's not particularly cheap, but if you're looking for ammunition or powder, primers, guns, it's worth looking into. One thing that I don't do is that I don't go to gun shows and buy high-priced supplies. It seems like gun shows are some of the worst places to buy ammunition, powder, or primers. You can find deals at gun shows, but a lot of people, they mark supplies up at gun shows and expect people to buy it. Also, a lot of people buy stuff off of Craigslist or Facebook marketplace type websites. Once again, the people that sell on those things, they're just flipping the stuff. They're not really per se shooters. They're just trying to make a quick buck, and they're actually exacerbating the problem. 22 is becoming more available around town. Whenever I see it at a fairly good price, I always buy it. I always use high quality 22s for practice. I have a high quality 22 rifle in this Ruger 7722. Its size and weight is about the same size as a regular centerfire rifle. I do the same thing with pistol. I have this Ruger 2245 ultralight. Put a compensator on it, and I use this for handgun practice. A lot of times you'll find 22 short or 22 long at a store. You can't really shoot these in automatic loading 22s like a 10-22 or the Ruger 22 pistol, but you can use them in other types of firearms. This Ruger single 6, it could shoot 22 short, long, or long rifle. You can actually change out the cylinders and shoot 22 MAGA out of it also. These guns aren't very popular anymore, but they are very flexible on ammunition type. For rifles, a lever action 22 with the tubular magazine, they could also shoot 22 short, long, or long rifle. This gives you a lot more flexibility than a Ruger 10-22 rifle that can only shoot 22 long rifle. Now when it comes to powders, a lot of people have their favorite powder they don't like to change. Well, as an example, Varget is a very popular powder. But in case people don't know, it is made in Australia. So powders that fill the same need as Varget are IMR 4166. This is made in Canada. So usually you can find this easier than Varget. Also IMR 4064. Before Varget was available, 4064 was a very popular powder. For use in Magnum pistols and the 300 Blackout, a lot of people use Hodgdon Low Gun or Winchester 296. Those are very good powders, both made in the USA. They're usually not too hard to find. But another powder that fills that same market is Alliant Powder 300 MP. This is actually an offshoot of 296. It's actually made in the same factory that Winchester 296 and H110 are made. And it's just a little bit different variation. But 300 MP works pretty good. When it comes to 9mm handguns, a lot of people have their favorite powder. I know Tight Group is very popular. Vidavori powder is very popular. But there's nothing wrong with a pound of Unique. It's a very flexible powder. Also Hodgdon HP38, which is the same as Winchester 231. That's a very popular powder, been around a long time. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Learned a few tips on how to get some primers and powders and ammunition. If you like this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Anyhow, that's all I have for today. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe and have a nice day.